So
Right.
Japanese former military, they don't feel okay mindset like a hate enemy, or they don't like their people, or the kind of feeling they didn't have because they didn't kill them much. Okay, just occupy.
Right.
So
If I compare that with for example, Dutch colonialization, what I know most about, I don't know whether the methods were much different than the ones that Japan applied, for example, in Korea, and the Netherlands applied in Indonesia. I think that, well, like for example, in order to make ends meet for the Dutch in Indonesia, they forced every farmer to allocate 10% of his land to the Netherlands as a kind of tax. In Korea,
what do you mean? 10%
35%.
of tax for land? What do you mean?
Yeah. So basically, they had to give 10% of the revenues of their land
revenue.
to the Dutch
Okay.
as a tax. Yeah.
Okay, not high.
Not so high. No, not compared to the 35% that was demanded by the Japanese in Korea.
No, Japanese in Korea, not 35%. Is 37% of land is forced to give Japanese farmers from chosen people.
Right.
So many people.
So they didn't tax it; they just annexed it.
That's right.
And
my
in effect, you could say that is kind of a tax, because 37% of the land is basically 37% of the revenue that those farmers had. So that's a very, very big tax for poor people.
not bad, but Dutch people, they don't treat Indonesian people as equal, right?
No, we employed them. It's not like we use them as slaves. We employed them. We paid them money.
Not slave?
Employed them. No.
Employed, but
No.
you people didn't treat them as equal.
No, we hired them, for example, as maids, as for to look after the children, to cook, to clean the house, and the for example, the farmers, they had to pay a tax in the form of part of their annual crop.
So you treated like British people?
Yeah, I think so.
British people in Singapore and Malay, they treated the people. They didn't treat as human beings.
No, that's not the case in the Netherlands, and I don't think that is the case for the British even. If you look at the entire length of colonialization, those are excesses. Just like saying that the Japanese were extremely cruel, that was true in a number of cases, but not the general understanding. You don't forget that a lot of the British and the Dutch and whoever, they were devout Christians. So there was always this kind of like dualism. On the one hand, they felt that they had to spread Christianity and do good to the world, and on the other hand, they were in it for the money, and they were trying to take. But
Okay.
it's not.
Okay, this is my point.
Trying to depict them as a villain, that's not correct.
Yeah, this is my point. Christianity is means it doesn't treat equal. Like British people, their house, okay, they don't invite local people into their house as an equal person. Like never invite other party or discussion with them. So it means segregation.
Sorry, if I may be a little bit, this is not fair, but I'm never invited into the house of anyone here in Japan either.
No. Japanese case, the house is small, but British
Right.
in Singapore, they lived in big house, but they never invite the local people their party, okay? And they can communicate with local people, but with local people for their hiring people or hired as workers, but not the same as the liberal people. It means segregation. It's just, I think is Dutch people is the same way, right? Okay, if you're going to have a party in Jakarta, okay, you people never invite local people. Just they only they have a party or their picnic or whatever, their own people, right?
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Not true.
No, it's not true. Because basically, we work together with locals and especially with the local rulers. It's not like we completely took all the ranks of everybody. That we were in much fewer numbers than the locals, so it was impossible to rule that exclusively. So we constantly had to work together with local people, with local elites, in order to make a business.
Okay, I tell you one example. Today Yuba doesn't join with us, but she always told us, Kimoto, and she told us, when she was working with a former European company, her boss never take her to join the lunch or dinner with their own European people, party. But Kimoto take her to any places where he going. So she was so astonished. How come Japanese people try to treat them as equal? So
I think that's what the European person did is not normal. That's not